Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harmony College East 2021. I'm Cheryl Berlin, and Glenn Phillips and I are privileged to be the co-deans of Harmony College East. We have all had so many struggles over the past 15 months, but we've also had our victories, and Glenn and I believe that this year's Harmony College East is one of them. We have a fantastic weekend planned for you: classes, lunchtime programming, and in keeping with our traditions of many years, a keynote address tonight, and both a Friday evening and a Saturday evening show. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I'd like to take a few minutes to thank some folks and to talk about a few housekeeping items. Yes, there are still housekeeping items, even though we don't have to turn in any keys this year. First, I would like to thank district leadership for supporting us as we pivoted to this virtual platform. I would also like to recognize and thank Mike Kelly for all of his hard work and patience, with me mostly, in getting the registration site and all the technology adapted for this year. Thanks also goes to Ann Bureau for connecting us with Harmony Incorporated and their Hive library, and to Harmony Incorporated for generously sharing their content with us. Hopefully you've seen some of the videos this week in the evenings. More to come tomorrow and Saturday during the lunch hour from 1 to 3 p.m. I'd also like to thank Bill Colosimo for stepping up to put together two amazing evening shows for us, containing submissions of performance video from so many in our district and greater barbershop communities. Don't miss these two shows, premiering at 7:30 on both Friday and Saturday nights, because they'll also contain a few surprises. Now to the housekeeping. First, everyone who pre-registered should have received an email with a copy of their courses. This email also includes the dates and times for each of your classes and the Zoom link that will allow you to join the classes. We are not publishing all the links publicly. You will have the links you need to attend the classes for which you registered. If for some reason you did not receive your email, and check your spam folder just in case, please send a note to hce@midatlanticdistrict.com and we will do our best to get you the links you need. We ask that you respect our faculty and do your best to be prompt to your classes and to remember to keep yourself on mute unless otherwise instructed. Second, if you are scheduled for a PVI, please keep in mind that these sessions are only 25 minutes long this year, so please do your best to be prompt. Third, our schedule of lunchtime offerings can be found in your nightly update. Please refer to that to see what you'd like to tune into during non-instructional hours. And finally, we encourage you to donate to the Mid-Atlantic District and to Harmony Incorporated. This year's Harmony College East has been provided at no cost to you, but there are still associated expenses. If you would like to make a donation to Mid-Atlantic District, it's as easy as clicking the donate button on the website. If you are enjoying the Hive educational content, please consider making a donation to Harmony Incorporated at www.harmonyinc.org/donate. Enough housekeeping now. I am pleased to introduce our keynote speaker tonight. Mo Field, originally from Canada, is a musician and former master director of the multiple international award-winning Stockholm City Voices, a 42-voice women's a cappella ensemble from Stockholm, Sweden. She is a globally recognized and sought-after vocal performance coach, arranger, educator, workshop facilitator, life coach, and mentor. With a background in diverse popular and contemporary music, as well as studies in jazz, composition, and songwriting, her historic perspective and enthusiasm for learning and expression permeates all she does. As a published songwriter, composer, and ASCAP member, her attention to depth of art is richly influenced. Proudly, Mo is a member of 3 outstanding barbershop organizations: the Barbershop Harmony Society, where she currently directs the Great Northern Union, based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, an active member of Harmony Incorporated, singing bass in the current 4th place International Quartet Swing Theory, and a top 10 director in Sweet Adelines International. She is also a BHS certified performance judge and coaches choruses and ensembles worldwide. But what Mo really wants you to know about her is this. Mostly, Mo loves music. Mo loves people. Mo loves what music can do to and for people, and what people can do with music to help people be better people. And now, Please join me in welcoming our 2021 keynote speaker, Mo Field.
Hello, Harmony College East. It is divine pleasure to be here with you for this session this weekend, this starting off this week on this Thursday. I can't thank you enough for inviting me to be part of your journey, and I am so happy that you are all making the choice to enrich yourselves as you come out of this pandemic and move forward in your lives being richer human beings. So, having said all of that, let's just jump in. When I was asked to give a keynote address, I found it a little bit daunting. I thought to myself, what do I possibly have to say of any import that will make a difference in somebody else's life today? But when I thought about it, that's pretty much the way I feel about everything in life. What have I got to say? What have I got to do? What have I got to offer that could possibly be useful to anybody else? And that service mind has really been something that has grown on me over the years. I didn't start out feeling like I wanted to give very much away to people, but I've learned that really the joy of generosity enriches our souls so very much. Is that not exactly what we do with Harmony? Is share as we receive. It's a pretty incredible experience. So the topic tonight that I want to discuss is be here now. Now, let's just look at those three words in their various forms. Be, to exist, the act of existing, to be. Here, the location. Where else can I be except in the space that I am? And when can I be there? Now. And these all lead me to one very important thing. As artists, we have choices that we make. We always have choices. Now, this past year has been very challenging for a lot of us. That's okay. What we do with these challenges is the thing that makes us richer people. It also makes us better artists and more vulnerable, more open, more accessible to anybody that encounters the art that we intend to make. As we grow as human beings, we have more to share. Having talent is one thing, and I know a lot of talented people, I'm sure we all do, that are great talents. They can sing like gangbusters, they can play any instrument that they want, they are great performers, they are great entertainers. Are they enriching our lives? Or are we just being entertained by these folks? Now, one of the things that's really great about barbershop and the genre that we enjoy and the style that draws us and this culture that we've developed, we know how to be a person amongst people, as it were. We can sing a tag with anybody, anywhere, anytime, not know their name, and feel like we walk away from that conversation a little bit more intimately connected to that person that we don't even really know. We don't know the details in their lives. We don't know much about those folks, but what we do know is we know that we can make harmony with them. And there is something very special about the act of that alone. So be here now. Grabbing people and singing a tag, that is the perfect be here now moment. If there was one, that would be it. That is our example. Now let's just take this one step further. A lot of us have been fairly dormant this year, or sedentary, shall I say, vocally sedentary, musically sedentary. Some of us have been deep diving into some other things. I myself have used this opportunity to try and come out smarter and at least adept at something after this pandemic. But I have found that it's been very challenging. And a few of the things that I've gone through in that process, I want to share a bit of that with you. The be here now, why this is so important to me as a musician. First of all, I had to decide that I had a purpose. Why do I want to get better at what I'm doing? Is it just so that I can be better at what I'm doing and say that I ticked that box? Is it that I want to make a difference and I want to be more fluid in what I do, so that I need to be a better communicator, so I need to get better at my technique? And yeah, that is something that I definitely want to do. There are a bunch of different reasons that motivate all of us, but hopefully you will find whatever your purpose is. So I'm going to ask you a quick 5 questions. 1, what is it that you do? Think about that for a moment. I could say I'm a bass player, I'm a vocalist, I'm an arranger, I'm a director, I'm a coach, I'm a judge. I could pick any one of those and deep dive on it. So pick something that's important to you, and what do you do? Put a name on it. Your next question is, who do you do this for? Or for whom do you do this? Let's put it that way. So this is almost everything that we do is self-gratifying, but beyond self-gratifying, what about the people out there? For whom do you do this? The next question is, what do you hope they get from you? What is it that you think they are getting from you while you're doing the thing that you do? The next question is, how might they be changed from this experience? This is a big question. You have to go back through your other 3 questions and really analyze, how do you think people might be changed by what it is that you said you did when you started with question 1? And your last question is, again, so what is it that you do? Now, if I follow this logical questioning for myself, I start out saying, what do you do? I direct a chorus. Let's just start with that. I'm a choral director. For whom do you do this? For the people that will enjoy learning music and singing in harmony for other people. Okay, so there's a group of people that I work with immediately, then there's an extension into the audience of a group that is affected. So I've got 2 groups now that I can say are possibly affected by what I do. My third question is, what do I hope they get from me? Well, I hope that they get inspiration. I hope that they get clarity. I hope they get musical growth. I hope that they get ambitious and curious about music and about the art that they can make. And I hope that they will be better practitioners, more honest practitioners of their craft. That's one group. Now the audience, what do I hope for them? I hope that they will enjoy and be inspired by whatever they receive from group A. Now the next question, how might they be changed through this? Oh, that's a deep question now that I think about it. How might they be changed? I'm hoping that the musicians that I get to work with rediscover their innocence and their curiosity in their playfulness around their musicianship. And that as they grow in skill, talent, and ability, they gain in humility for the understanding of what they don't know yet. And that's a really good place to be. One of the greatest places that we can be as learners is in a place where we can rely on our confidence of what we've already established and butt it right up against the head of everything that we don't know yet. And that nexus is the perfect place for art to begin and to live and to grow, and the perfect nurturing soil for you as an artist. How might the audience be changed? Well, my hope is that they feel that they have a bit more permission today to feel more human, that they walk out of any theater with that feeling of possibility, that any of the troubles that were standing in front of them, they can face, that anything they were afraid to face, they can face, that any joy they're about to discover, they have the courage to move through whatever's their barrier and go ahead and do that. Now that's a pretty tall order. So at the end of the day, when I ask myself that last question, which is the same as the first question, so what is it that you do? Well, am I a choral director? No. Actually, what I am is I am the facilitator of change in artists to use music to move people to become better human beings. That's what I do. I assist creatives in using their creations to make the world a better place. That's actually my job title. I kind of like that. But it puts into perspective what my purpose is. And anytime that I'm stuck, I have to remember that's my purpose. That's my purpose. It keeps my feet on the ground and keeps my ego in check and a whole bunch of other things. It also keeps me developing as a learner. It keeps me in that nexus, that perfect artistic place of relying on the confidence of what I've already established and facing the things that I don't know yet, and being more excited about that than I am terrified, which is fair to say. So this all leads me to be here now. We have to talk about the idea of abundance and scarcity. So scarcity is, I hear this a lot from people, we want to get to the next level. Why do you want coaching? Well, we really want to, bump past a 72 or whatever the barrier might be. And it's very finite. That those barriers are like, okay, great. But let's just kind of broaden that perspective for a second. That's just a number or a score, or I want to get to the next level. It always assumes, the supposition here is that you're underneath something that you want to achieve, that it's out of your reach, that you need something more than what you are in order to achieve it. Now, let's just flip that on its head for a second. What if you came from a place of abundance, whatever the challenge is, whether it be musical, technical, life? What if you came from a place of abundance? The very fact that you can identify that thing, the very fact that you want that thing means it already lives in you somewhere, and your job is to zoom ahead of it and look back at where you want to go or where you're coming from and say, what's in my way? What's in my way? I already possess everything that I need. What if you already possessed everything that you needed? What if the persona that you let yourself hold was, I got this, I know this, now I want to go back and look at what's in my way instead of what do I have to change about myself in order to be good enough? That's scarcity. What if you're already good enough? And now you want to look at what's in your way so that you can explore more of what's good enough already. I think that this is a game changer. It was a game changer for me. It's worked for a lot of people that I know as well. Come from a place of abundance. If I want this thing, it means that I have a relationship to that part of my identity that already understands it. Now I have to find out what the small things are that are in my way and itemize those things and tackle them one at a time so that I'm developing a deeper relationship to that thing that has my curiosity. Instead of coming into it saying, I know I want to be better, it's based on a score or it's based on somebody else's opinion of me. No. That will keep you mediocre. Ambition is a good thing until it's not. So let's try and come from that place of internal. Now this leads us also to the artistic work ethic. Work ethic is kind of a weird word when it comes to music, when it comes to barbershop, when it comes to joy, when it comes to singing. It's a bit of a challenge. And it's a bit of a challenge because we do a lot of things that we take for granted as vocalists. The sound comes out of us. We have an expectation that it's going to be what we want it to be. And it comes easy in a way. We hear a thing, we replicate that thing. We are able to say, yeah, I can sing that melody. We might be learning it from a learning media of some description. We might be imitating that. We can imitate a lot of things with our voices very, very easily. And it seems like it's very intuitive. And there's not a lot of work effort in it to get it basically all right in the zone. But when the work ethic comes in, It's when you feel yourself challenged by going past what you understand. And that's where work ethic becomes a thing, especially for artists. That's where we have to sit in the discomfort of not feeling that intuitive flow with our voice. It doesn't feel intuitive. It doesn't feel intuitive. We can go into that place of judgment. I'm not enough because I can't do this. It's above my pay grade. It's just outside my headlights. I have to become something that I'm not. So this is where abundance and scarcity thinking really will matter to you in the growth process in order to get you into that place of being able to enjoy the work ethic. And why should I enjoy that work ethic? Remember your purpose. Because myself being humbled by the work that's in front of me gives me the opportunity to discover the better parts of myself that I haven't discovered yet, because there's static in the way. And when that gets cleared up, I'm a lot more available to people. I can be here now in a better way. This internal struggle that we have sometimes as artists with our craft and our crafting and our technique. Remember, technique should serve you, not the other way around. That's the way it is. And it will feel uncomfortable to try new things, but you have to keep at it anyway. Just because it felt intuitive doesn't mean you weren't working. When you get past that cusp and that thing that you were working on starts feeling easier for you, don't think that things aren't working. Sometimes when you go through that grist and you grind through to the other side and you suddenly come to a place of ease, when everything is lining up and coordinating the way it should, it gives you the opportunity to apply more of your feeling, your sensitivity, your thoughtfulness to your artistry. So it's really worth doing. When you sit down and you're trying to work on, how do I nail that high E flat or whatever the note is that's your barrier, just take a breath, pause for a second, think, if I want it, it's in me somewhere. Now, what's in my way? And itemize. I mean, what you might need to do has nothing to do with that E flat. What you might need to do is change your mindset first. What you might need to do is go to somebody and say, I keep adding stress to my inabilities. This thing that I want that I don't believe I can achieve, I add stress to it. What do I need to do to change that stress that I feel around it? Well, maybe you start somewhere else completely differently. A really great technique for painters that feel really stuck if they're right-handed is to start painting with their left hand, so that they have no choice but to figure out how to coordinate in a more innocent way. So this is what abundance can do for you. What's in my way? And those become bite-sized pieces that you can tackle one moment at a time. In order to find the balance between joy, the joy of sound coming through me, which a lot of us right now, because we've been dormant for a while, that joy of just sound coming through me at the same time as other people is going to be very intoxicating. I have to say, very intoxicating. Now, is it beautiful or is it just joyful? Joyful is great. It's great. Now, making it beautiful, again, we go back to what we just talked about. There's a little bit of discipline that we need to use in order to find our best growth and our best innocence and our most vulnerable, honest, and humble place to come from as a musician. And the more we're just reaching for those things and looking at those things that are just like, I kind of get it, but I don't have a deeper relationship with it yet. And we stay there in that discomfort until that relationship comes together and we're like, yes, I understand. I've given my body a chance to understand how to coordinate this thing, because the body is a little bit slower than our brain wants it to be. That's the truth of it. We just have to sit there in our discomfort for a minute and allow these easy things to start happening. Slowly, slowly. Actually, when we slow things down, we have the opportunity to let all of the things that have to function for that beauty to occur, to start talking to one another, to start coordinating with one another, to start creating that sense of peace, excitement, passion, beauty, and joy when we give ourselves that moment to really absorb that feeling of beauty and make that feel like a joyful exercise. The work becomes a joyful exercise. And as soon as that happens, we're not working on technique anymore, because remember, we have purpose. My purpose is that today, just getting myself out of the way and doing all of this kind of work might inspire somebody else to have a better day today, or to find more courage, or to have more permission to have that feeling that they've been bottling up. That's why I do the work. That's why I do the work. That gives me courage to face my own fears when I'm doing my own work. That's the way it is. I'll tell you a quick story. Sort of a quick story. It was my chorus that I used to direct, Stockholm City Voices. We were going to be going to international, and I was in a very depressed place at this point in my life. I was not feeling very good at all, and I chose to arrange a song for my chorus, "You Are So Beautiful to Me." Now, when I sat down to arrange this, I knew right away I can't think about theory. I can't think about even chord spelling. I can't think of anything. It doesn't have to even fit barbershop genre. It just has to be in 4 parts. That's all I care about. And it just has to reflect the beauty of me actually feeling that somebody else is beautiful. And what I started thinking was, I've got to think of people that are so beautiful to me. And it's got to sound like what I feel about those people. That's the only criteria. Now, I'm not a piano player by nature. I mean, I can fumble around. Okay, it's kind of like watching the lawn claw in the garden. But I'm a bass player. So piano is a little bit beyond me. My mother was a concert pianist, so I took up guitar because it was intimidating. Let's face it. So I sat down to arrange this song, and I sat with it for a long time, and the chords had to feel authentic to me. It had to feel like my connection to some of the people that I knew would be hearing this. And I would imagine them in the audience, listening to these chords as they were passing, and feel through their eyes and through their ears and their hearts, would they be sitting there saying, "This feels exactly right"? And that's all I thought about. So I arranged this song. My chorus, I deliver it to the chorus. The chorus feels the core of what this is about instantaneously. They pick up on it. We develop this great symbiosis while working on the piece together, and it worked itself. It was effortless. Now, when I say it was effortless, I don't mean there wasn't work happening, because all of the things that I've told you earlier in this keynote were things that I worked with my chorus for many years before that. So when we came to this moment, it was effortless to find that sense of beauty and ease and joy, and excellence came as a result of all this other stuff without trying to find excellence. Coming from that place of abundance, somewhere in me, I knew that beauty existed, even though I was in a very depressed place. Now, that's not actually even the most interesting thing about this story. The more interesting thing about this story is that we did go to international. We did sing this in the finals, and the audience felt it. And you could feel it on stage. I could feel the thousands of people behind me and my chorus in front of me, and being in that place in the middle, it just felt like I was in cradled hands, just being so gently and lovingly held in that moment. I was be here now was happening to me, and it was a healing moment for me. I make absolutely no bones about it. It was an absolutely healing moment. Now, that is also not the most interesting thing about this story that I'm telling you. What the most interesting thing about this story that I'm telling you is what came next, a year later. A woman pulls me aside. I've known her for a long time from my old region in Region 26. She pulls me aside a year later at the International Convention and says, "I have to tell you this story." My son is autistic. He's a great guy. You know, he's going to high school. He's doing a great job, but he's never been affectionate with me. He's never really expressed affection to me in obvious ways. So we were watching the webcast of you at International, and when you sang "You Are So Beautiful to Me," he turned to me and he said, "Mom, you are so beautiful to me." And it was the first time in her life that he'd ever done anything like that. Now, I started crying. I'm tearing up now, and I've told this story before, and every single time it's so real and raw that I feel like it's important to say one of the most dramatic things about this. Remember, I told you that I was really in a depressed place when I was arranging this song. Well, I have struggled with my own versions of mental health issues. One of the things is I am on the autism spectrum myself, and that creates a lot of barriers in a lot of ways, but it's also a superpower that I love and enjoy and celebrate and thrive, and I wouldn't want to be without. But it does create pockets in my life where sometimes I get pretty blue. So there I was in one of the down spirals of my condition, doing this thing for all of those reasons that I mentioned to you earlier, trying to find purpose, struggling, staying in it anyway, you know, doing everything that I could to hang on and do it for the right reasons, only to find out years later, and this was a couple years later, that we'd go to International, we would sing this on a stage, it would be intact because of all the discussion and all of the feelings and all of the humanity that went into it in the first place, was transferred through my chorus to thousands of people watching, beamed up in space, beamed back down from space to a computer in Calgary to this kid who's on the autism spectrum, who says to his mother for the first time in her life, hearing his feelings, how beautiful that she is to him. Now, if that is not a miraculous journey, I don't know what is. And there is nothing in my vista that could have controlled that. I could not have made that happen. I could have not planned that to happen. That is the mystery of staying in the moment. That is the mystery of believing that something in me, that abundance, matters. And I just have to find out what's in my way and work through it, so that the thing that is in me that shines can shine. Like my mother used to say, when you dim your light so someone else can shine, the whole world gets darker. I believe everybody shines. Our jobs are to find out what's in our way so that other people can see our shine. And you know what? It might take a minute, but it will get reflected back to you. And hopefully it will feed you to shine a little bit more and to have that compassion for people who aren't quite as shiny yet. So be here now. Be ready to meet the moment. You might not feel like you're ready to meet the moment, but you are. You are absolutely ready to meet the moment. And the deeper you are in yourself, the more you activate that humanity, and you're able to meet people in ways that are seemingly mysterious, but they're honest. And people get those things because music is in motion. It never stops moving. We can ride that wave or we can jump off. But when we're in it, it might be chaotic and messy, because art is chaotic and messy. But work on your whole self. If you're going to work on your whole instrument, we work so hard on our voices. Let's work on our whole instrument that provides that voice, that real narrative that's underneath, that application of narrative that we rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, and sometimes over-rehearse, but because there is no perfection, but there is complete intent. So remember that excellence is not a two-way street. It is not here, and if I'm not excellent, I'm not excellent. If I can't be excellent, it means I'm not excellent. That's too binary. Actually, excellence happens in impure moments too. The thing that we're striving for in order to make ourselves accessible to other people is to get the crap out of the way so that people can see the shine. And you've experienced this many times, as have I. People that have really worked hard on their craft, even though it's imperfect, but you can feel their pure intent in it. You forgive a lot of stuff. You can see that pure intent, and that is the thing that shines through. Because love and joy are revolutionary. And when you do justice to the best of your ability to anything that's in front of you, instead of lip service, people will read. People will read that. They will read that purity and they will react to that purity because we know what micro nuance looks like. We know what that subtlety is. Just like my friend in Calgary. He got that song. He got it. He got it. He saw right through it and was able to reflect that back to his mom. And that is one of the coolest things that I think has ever happened to me in my life. So practice stretching yourselves so that you have this opportunity, this flexibility of human spirit to match the voice that you create. Our voices should reflect who we are as people. And when we do that, we are creating an organic culture in any group that we sing in. There's something natural, even though we're trying to line up things and get things to sort of match and have exact agreement. If you're the right kind of loose and pliable, you will start recognizing these signals in other people around you and you will start flowing. Because flow is probably going to be more important to you than precision. When you flow and you've got the flexibility and technique to be able to do it, you can go anywhere, anytime, anyhow, and not be stressed about it. So these are just a few things I want you to think about as you're coming back into a new way of being. I would say back into a new way of being, because we're going to be taking some of the things that we knew before the past couple of years. We're going to be taking a lot of things that we've known from the past couple of years, and we're going to be taking some things that are yet to be invented because things are different. Things have changed. We have a whole new world at our fingertips, and it's so exciting to me. It's so exciting to me that there are communities that don't know anything about four-part harmony that are about to find out about four-part harmony because we are accessible, more accessible as human beings. We've been changed by the experience we've been in, and we are willing to bring something special to it. Be here now. Don't try and go back and be what you were. It's a one-way street, your choice. Choice is a one-way street. You make a choice to move forward or you don't. Excellence, you can be at various degrees in all sorts of different pockets of your life, chasing that. Don't even chase excellence. Chase being real. Chase being curious. Chase having purpose. Chase being generous. Chase doing this work because it's going to matter to somebody more than just you. As we get so self-absorbed in our own craft, it's easy for us to forget that the purpose is really so that somebody else feels less alone today. And then we start forgetting about ourselves. And that ego diminishment is actually quite good. You have to have a lot of ego for stage, but you really don't want ego in your message. You have to have a lot of confidence to be on stage. You've got to have a lot of confidence to be able to deliver the things that you feel vulnerable about to other people. Well, the best way to do that is to develop a deeper relationship to yourself as a vulnerable artist and let yourself heal through the music that you make. Let yourself be challenged and gain esteem because you've sat in that discomfort and you figured out how to get through it on the other side because you have faith in who you are, because you have that sense of abundant belief. And if you have that sense of abundant belief in yourself, you're going to start seeing it in other people. It's going to be amplified and magnified everywhere you go. So when it comes down to doing technique or interpretation or balancing chords, It's not going to be because of a math equation, although it could be, but it's not really going to be that. It's going to be because that's where it's supposed to be, to say that thing that you meant to say. Music is a magical thing. And all of the emotion that we don't have words for, all of the feelings that we're afraid to confess, it all lives in the chords. It all lives in the music. And you might want it to be absolutely harmonically balanced mathematically, but maybe that's also not what you mean to say at the time, and you need it to be a little bit unbalanced for purpose. But make sure it's on purpose. It's easy to just blurt stuff out and have it feel good for you. I'm glad it feels good for you. But we're also in the business of making things beautiful. Not because we're going to get a gold star, but because we want to be generous with the spirit that it creates for other people. I wish you nothing but love as you go out there and do one of my favorite things is listen and try. Listen and try. Repeat that over and over until you learn how to fail at a higher level. And just keep being who you are. We've got a lot of healing to do as a community. And the world out there, let's turn our eyes outward to the communities around us that are looking for an opportunity to have affinity. Let's put our feet back on the ground. Let's put our feet back on the ground and create opportunities in our communities for people that need to heal through music. If we're applying all of what we can to who we are so that we can be better front-facing people, more accessible to others, it will only enhance our entire journey. So this week's a lot of learning for all of us. I hope you take everything that you can find and turn it into your own kind of magic. Go out there, friends, and shine, shine, shine. I love you all in my own special way, and we'll see each other again in person one of these days. Go be magnificent. Thank you, Harmony College East.